Hey YouTube, Shigwin Shinobi here with a review of the Danball Senki Wars LBX Orvane. Woo! So this is the 43rd LBX kit released through standard retail, and the second for the Wars line. So this is Orban. Orvane according to the English, Ovane according to the Kana. So fun times ahead. This is the LBX that is used by Haruki, the leader of the First Platoon. So very cool. It is a wild frame, meaning it's got a more beast-like appearance. Usually the wild frames all have the hunched legs and the kind of wolfish-like face. And I really like those. I like wild frames a lot. I have a huge bias towards them. Despite the fact I don't really like their legs all that much. I don't really like curved legs on my toys. But I really do like wild frames. I liked Hunter and Fenrir and all that fun stuff. So, very cool. And like Dot-Phasor, he has a Multi Gimmick Sack. And a tail. Tails are fun too. So here he is. And here we go with Orvane. So, because of the way his legs are engineered in this really weird shape, and he is back heavy, he has tendencies of falling over quite a bit. At least mine does, because I suck at posing. But if you kind of fiddle around with the legs a little bit, I try to make them as straight as I can, which actually doesn't really help much at all. These back little peggy things, they're like little talons, move around. They're supposed to be kind of up like this, but I tend to find that if I tilt them all the way back and kind of use them as bracers for the legs, he stands a little bit better. So I do like to do that. But Orvane's a very cool design. He basically totes around this giant cannon on his back that unfolds into a turret, which I'll show in a minute. But for now, let's pop the entire back section right off and just set it aside so we can take a look at Orvane's design. Very slender, very wild frame. You can tell right off the bat that it's a wild frame. He does have this cool little tail. It's on 2 little ball sections. So you can get a little bit of maneuverability on it. However, it does have tendencies of popping out at the little tailbone right there. I wish it went in a little bit further, just so I can get it a little bit more solid. But not a horrible thing. It just pops right back in. It's not that big of a deal. I really like his design overall. I'm not too fond of the color green, so I'd like to see this guy in like a red or something. I don't know how they would ever release that, but kind of like in Double when what's-his-face had the red Fenrir. Looked really cool. So that's a thing too. I would love to see this style in red because red's my favorite color. So I really like the overall look of it. Yeah, he's got this little hook thing on his crotch, but that's fine. Who cares? But still, overall, nice, simple, elegant design. And he does have the treads down here for his feet. And he does actually use those in the show to get around. He doesn't really step all too often. But still a very, very cool design that implements a lot of fun things about LBX between like the tread and the backpack and the tail, the wild frame design. Overall, very, very cool kit, and probably my favorite of the first 3 released, just in terms of design. Now, here is the multi-gimmick sack for this guy. It basically includes the turret, and that is it. However, this turret part can pop out to form a club-like weapon. Now, just to show it off, here's Dot-Phasor, and it can plug into Dot-Phasor. So Dot-Phasor can have the giant backpack too. I'm not sure if they're ever going to use that in the show or not, but he is capable of wielding it. He just really can't stand with it at all. So that is certainly a thing. But here we go. So basically, when you pop this off, we'll plug the rest of the turret back on him. When you pop this off, you switch this piece around, and that will plug in just like that. Then this entire section will pop right off. And this is where you would replace it with this piece right here. If I can remember how this goes. Like, other way. Like this. Actually, I had it right in the first place. Like this. And then the small cylindrical piece would fit in right here to make the handle of what would be... Nope, I was right another time. I'm horrible at this. Right here, and what would be the handle of the club. Unfortunately, I either did not take that piece off of the sprue, or I dropped it when I was cleaning up after building him, and I have no idea where it is. So, it's basically, here's a picture on the instructions, just this long cylindrical piece right here, and that will turn it into this club-looking weapon. So, yeah, unfortunately, I have no idea where that is, but you get the base of the club idea, and it just fits right into his hand. Very easy to make a piece like that out of basically any leftover sprue. Can probably be kind of shaped into one. So, that is the thing. Unfortunately, I have no idea where it is. But, switch that back. Just like so. Pop this piece back off, and then put this piece back on, and we're back to where we started. And you can plug it, it just kind of frictions itself right in here, right on the back. So very cool. Now, this does transform into basically a sniper rifle station. Unfortunately, I need that piece that I lost. So we're not going to get the full experience here. And I do apologize greatly for that. But what are you going to do? Not much. Basically, you take this off and replace this with the longer one. And then this long piece right here will plug in right there. And then you have the smaller one right under it to make the cannon portion of the sniper rifle. So it's a little bit of a shame that I can't find that piece. But... like I said, not much I can do about it besides look for it, and I have. But alas, it has eluded me. Fold out these little handles and plug them into his fists. Just like that. Kind of get him in a pretty decent standing pose. These should be flat on the ground because they act like little bracers. Then swing this piece. It's on two little individual ball joint things to rotate around. Rotate it back down. And then this piece will slide right in there to make the turret, obviously, is very lopsided because it doesn't have its main piece that it needs. But you get the idea. And here is his little gunner station. And I think that is very, very cool. That basically he totes around his turret on his back, and I think that's neat. That's really all I gotta say on the matter, is that just pretend this piece is here and it looks appropriate. And he got a very cool looking little weapon, and I really, really dig that. I think it's great. Then once you unplug that, these just fling right back, fold everything up. Swing back around, and then this piece will swing back and rest right in there. Now you have his backpack all together. Put his tail back in since it fell out yet again. And there we go. Now, as you can see right there, Orvane does have a kind of this weird neck going on. I think that is to see over the turret kind of thing. Just to give them a little bit more height. Now, as one last accessory, it does come with this cool little claw hand, as you could probably see on the box art if you were looking at it at the beginning of the review. You just pop off the fist and replace it with this hand, and now he's got a claw, which is kind of cool, particularly if you're posing him with the mace weapon that I can't build. So that's the thing, and as you can see, I'm having some standing issues. But Orvane is a very, very cool kit. I like him more than Dot-Phasor on the simple fact that he's a wild frame, and I really like wild frames. But I think Dot-Phasor has a little bit more going for him in playability in terms of the weapon. Now, if you love the turret design as much as I do, then Orvane's probably a better pickup than Dot-Phasor. But considering Arata's like the main character, Dot-Phasor is kind of like an iconic little thing. But I think Orvane's more fun than Dot-Phasor because I love that turret a lot. Not the most solid release. Dot-Phasor is a lot easier to pose. The turret just adds a lot of weight on this guy, and he's very hard to get in a pretty good standing position. But fortunately, when you do, he can make some pretty nice poses, and he does have just as much posability as Dot-Phasor. It's just really hard to get him in certain poses thanks to the backpack. But still very cool, well worth the money. Did cost a tiny bit more than Dot-Phasor given how much plastic was used in the turret section, but well worth the $2 or so more that he cost, if that. So very cool and definitely recommended, especially to Wars fans. You can check out ShukenShobi.com for latest updates on my reviews and hauls, and of course check out Riders, Rangers, and Rambles, the podcast bringing latest token news in the craziest way possible. So take care and have a great one. Bye.